Okay, so if you were pick number 5 in the first round, why did you go to the minors first instead of just starting with the majors?
Well, now because of coming out of high school, normally minor leagues you go there and forget experience, and the majors is like once you get to the top, that's the top of the crop. I mean, that's the best in the world in the sport. So most of the time out of high school, you start in rookie ball. That's at the bottom. Some guys out of college, they may sign and start in low A, high A, but a lot of college guys is on my rookie team as well. And that's just where I fit. I was 17 years old, first year out of high school, so I wasn't ready to go to the majors. I was very fortunate to go when I was 19, 2 years later out of high school. That normally don't happen. And I only got to the majors that year in '84 because of Davey Johnson, who was the manager. In '83, I was in A-ball my first full year, but I went to AAA for the playoffs, and Davey was the manager. I pitched well. I pitched a good game for me in the playoffs and won the AAA World Series. And he said, well, if I manage next year, you're going to be on my team. So I'm thinking at least I'll be in AAA. Davey got the big league job, and so when spring training, well, before spring training instruction league, I go to Davey, I said, remember what you told me? He goes, don't worry, you come into camp. So normally you have to have 3 years in the minors to be on the big league roster. I only had 2 years, but they invited me to camp as a non-roster player. And I pitched every game. After the game, the media would come to me and say, hey, you pitched well, but the front office wants you to go back to AA or AAA because of your age. We had a guy, Tim Leary, who hurt his arm that got called up earlier, like in '82, so they didn't want to take the same chance with me. So I would run in Davey's office like a little kid and say, David, they said, I'm going back down to minors. He said, let them talk, don't worry, you're going to be on the team. Not until the last day of spring training, that's when I knew I made the team. Davey came up to me and said, congratulations, you made the team. And I remember calling my dad and sharing a moment with him because at the time, we had spring training in St. Petersburg, Florida, and I lived in Tampa, which is only 30 minutes away. So my dad came over and brought my bags because I didn't want to have my bags at the park not knowing officially what I was going to be on the team, but to share that moment with my dad that I was going to make the team. And that was only like the second time I ever seen him cry. That was like a special moment because it was like his dream that became my dream as a kid.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. Now, while you're still in the minors, you're on your own for the first time.
Yes.
And around that time, you started drinking.
Yes.
You started drinking 40s.
Yep.
Which were very popular in the 80s, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
They don't really drink them so much anymore.
Oh,
but
man.
in
Yeah.
the 80s, we all drank 40s.
Oh, yeah.
And growing up, your dad would drink, and alcohol would be around the house. You would sneak and stuff, sneak liquor every so often.
Yep.
Do you think that that's when your drinking problem started around that time?
I think, looking back at it and the knowledge I have on it now, I'd probably say yes. It was already in my genes because of my dad drinking. I mean, as a kid watching my dad was drinking, he was working, until his hip went out and he got problems with kidneys, but I never seen any problem. I didn't know anything about alcoholism. I didn't know anything about nothing. I just thought it was normal. And the amazing thing, even as a kid, my dad have a 6-pack of Bud Light in the fridge. When he's not around, I'll grab one out, thinking he don't know, but anybody that drinks beer, if you get about a 6-pack and one's missing, you know who got it.
Right.
So I'm in the backyard drinking, and one day he said, son, you want to drink? Drink with me. I was 12, so I had to drink with him, but didn't think nothing. But once I went to rookie ball to play, and again, I'm not justifying anything. I take full responsibility of all myself. I'm with a lot of college kids that come from college that's on the rookie team, and after games, get cases of beer, burgers or whatever we're drinking. And so I want to fit in. I was more of a people pleaser at the time, so I'm drinking beer. I started liking it. Then I started loving it, and so I started doing it. But at that time, I don't think it was really a problem. I think when I would go home during the off season, I got a lot of free time where guys I went to school with are either working or they're in school or what have you. I got all this free time riding around the car drinking more. Then the marijuana came in, and then unfortunately cocaine came after that.
Yeah.
But for his rookie ball, I started drinking a lot. When I was off from my home, my parents went around, first time away from home, and drinking definitely increased.
Okay, well, like we mentioned before, you got called up to the majors.
Yes.
So now you're officially a member of the New York Mets. Now, at the time, the Mets were kind of struggling.
It was bad.
And you came in and you hit the ground running. You earned the nickname Dr. K. There was whole sections, the K section, the K corner.
Yep.
People that would throw up Ks and everything else like that. You had a 98-mile-per-hour fastball.
Oh.
But the curveball was really what you were known for.
Yes, sir.
They started calling it the Lord Charles?
Yes. Tim McCarver, the late Tim McCarver, out of nowhere, he just gave the name Lord Charles, and it just kind of stuck. I had a brother named Charles, and he swore to the day, well, he passed away now, but he swore till he passed that it was named after him. But Tim McCarver, I still don't know where he came up with that name, Lord Charles.
Well, I guess there was a name, Uncle Charlie, that they would call it the curveball, but yours was so exceptional they would call it the Lord Charles.
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you joined, Darryl Strawberry was on the team. He had joined the year before.
Yes.
So what was that initial meeting like?
Oh, man, so I have to tell you, the first time I met Darryl, I'm bringing it up because he talked about it at his ceremony, right? Spring training of '83, I knew Darryl, the name, Darryl Strawberry, but I never met him. And he had heard rumors about this pitcher, meaning me, was close to being in the majors. And in spring training, it was like a local bar where everybody go to try to pick up girls or what have you. And I was in there, and I remember telling the bartender that he gave me, I don't know what the drink was, but it was a mixed drink. I said, that was pretty weak, make it a little stronger. He made the next one strong where I basically passed out. And Darryl comes in, and Floyd Yeomans, who I mentioned, was there. He goes, hey, he wakes me up, Strawberry wants to meet you. I said, who, Darryl? He goes, yeah, he's right over there. So I look over there, I see Darryl. I wave to him, I put my head back down on the bar table. So that was my first meeting of Darryl. But my initial meeting of Darryl was in, like I say, spring training of '84. Getting to know Darryl, I think it was great because he taught me a lot about dealing with the media, of what he went through the previous year in 1983. And he used to always say, you're going to be a big league player, you got to walk with your head up. Because I used to always walk my head down being a shy kid, walk with your head up. And we both lived in the same area in New York and Port Washington. And so we'd ride to the ballpark together a lot, talk a lot. So he taught me a lot about being on the road, being away from home, what to expect in the media, always being in front of your locker, whether you're doing good or bad, being in front of your locker, hold yourself accountable. So he just taught me about being a professional baseball player, which helped a lot.
Well, you said he could be kind of a mentor one moment and a loose cannon the next.
Yes.
What was the loose cannon part?
Loose cannon just been like, wow, just crazy. I mean, like, he had his issues. I'm glad he's doing well now. I mean, he's still a mentor. But back then, I mean, he wasn't like a mentor. We go to the park, they tell me what not to do, whatever. But then on the same time, we're hanging out together at places we probably shouldn't be and doing things we probably shouldn't be doing.
Yeah. Well, you also said that you didn't think that he really liked to share the spotlight with you once you joined because he was like the superstar player on the team, and now there's two stars on the team.
Yeah, I think he had to just, I think it was just my opinion, but we've talked about all this stuff is straight out. I thought that, like, obviously, '83, he was the man, Darryl Strawberry, #1 pick. '83, he's Rookie of the Year. He's a big guy. Then '84, I come in. Now, with my age, because I'm a teenager, I'm Rookie of the Year, and then, I go on the building, and I thought there was some animosity there a little bit. But, he said, he's pulling for me. But I think it was like, one thing I do know, when I pitched, he was definitely going to do something special, whether it's hit a home run, do whatever. But I just felt like maybe it was like a little jealousy there or something, but that was my own thinking. I don't think nothing. When I really look at it, I don't think much was there. I just think a situation where it was his team coming in to '84, but then I came out of nowhere, and then it became our team. And he just had to make the adjustment to that.
Well, right, because your first year with the Mets, you make the All-Star game. The youngest player to ever do it.
Yeah.
You were, 20 at the time?
19.
19.
Yeah, it's still 19.
Is that still the record to this day?
Yes.
So you're the youngest player to ever play in the All-Star game in Major League Baseball history, the 100-plus years.
Yes, strike out the first three batters. That was crazy.
How did that feel as a 19-year-old to be in that game?
That was surreal. I mean, the thing is, first of all, I make the team, and then I win my first game in Houston, and I tell my dad I should win a lot of games. But then my second game, I get knocked out in the third inning, and now I don't know if I'm ready. But then my season starts going pretty good, starting a lot of strikeouts. I make the All-Star team. I'm in the clubhouse with my idols, Nolan Ryan. I'm having a conversation with Nolan, and he's telling me that he looks forward to watching me pitch. And I'm like, wow, this guy 2 years ago, I'm pretending to be in the backyard playing, strikeout with Gary. Same clubhouse with Mike Schmidt, Andre Dawson, Gary Carter, all these guys who you watch growing up on TV as a kid. Pete Rose, I mean, it's just amazing. So obviously I wanted to get in the game, but even if I didn't get in the game, I would have been okay with it. My thing was I can't wait to get back to the hotel to call all my friends to tell them who I met, who I took a picture with, who I was talking to. So I'm down in the bullpen, and I forget the manager of the All-Star team that year, but he told me, we may use you, we may not. But the phone rings, and they say, get Gooden up. And it was like my knees just buckled because, I mean, it's national TV, it's an All-Star game that you used to watch with my dad and his friends. You know, they got the real going. It's a big event, and now I'm part of this. And so I'm like, man, I mean, I was nervous, sweating bullets. And luckily, I had Gary Carter, my catcher, for the All-Star game. And I remember Gary telling me, just throw the ball the way you did the first half of the season. Have fun, just enjoy it. None of this counts. Just enjoy the moment. So I helped a little bit, but I was still a little nervous. So I think when I was pitching against those guys, I think it was Lance Parrish, Alvin Davis, and Chet Lemon. I might have been the hardest I ever threw because it was just that nervous energy. So I stretched those three guys out, and they're jogging off the field, and just like, it felt like he was floating off the field. You can't believe what you just did. Felt like a dream. You don't know if that's real. And then Gary Carter, he said, wouldn't this be nice to do every fifth day? Not knowing what's going to end up trading for Gary that off season.